So, my name is Miranda, and I am defending Dermestis maculatus, which is a flesh-eating beetle.
I am Bailey Wright, and I'll be defending the lesser mealworm, or scientifically it is called the Aphytobius diaperionus.
And our debate topic is which is more beneficial. So I'm defending Dermestis maculatus, which is a flesh-eating beetle. Generally, these beetles are small. They're about 2 to 12 millimeters in length, and normally the females are larger than the males. They are black, dull, and usually hairy. They're two-spined, like posterior appendages curve forward. So that's how mainly how people focus and know what they look like. Their forewings are dark brown, and their sternum is mostly white with some black. Normally, these beetles and species are found underneath dead animals that have been decomposed for several days or even several weeks. Their eating habits can change, and they can cause a dead animal to become just basically a skeleton. These beetles are known to have potential destruction of actually woolen and sometimes fabrics, furs, and many common materials where you will not find these beetles. Some people would ask if, since they are flesh-eating beetles, some people would ask can they harm humans or any other live creatures? And normally they don't bite humans at all, which is what some people actually worry about. They don't carry actual diseases and are not invasive. And a lot of people carry these and kind of capture them in boxes, and they actually help and kill and clean other skeletons, and actually there's no permits are required to raise these beetles in general.
So the lesser mealworm is dark brown to black, and they're quite hard to get rid of since they are beetles, and beetles are notorious for being hard to kill. The lesser mealworm resides mainly in humid to moist environments, usually in caves, rats' nests, or other places with abundant resources that fit the dark, moist environment type of thing. And they occur all across the globe, but they originate in Africa. The daily diet of the mealworm consists of litter, bird and bat droppings, mold, feathers, and other weak or sickened insects or animals. The lifespan is pretty short. It's only up to 2 years, and they're active all throughout the day and night, but during the day they only stay in dark and humid environments, and at night they fly around and eat everything, I guess. They are used to control the common housefly and clown beetles, which are destructive to the beetles are at least destructive to timber and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. And they are nice to have around the lesser mealworms because they get rid of all the nasty things that humans generally don't want to get rid of anyways. So,
okay, so my first rebuttal is basically I believe that flesh-eating beetles are more beneficial because they're known to eat flesh, mainly because the appearance of the beetle, on decomposing remains of humans and other animals, they can be used to estimate post-mortem interval, which is basically the general time lapse since a person has been dead. There are cases, many people use these cases in suicide, homicide, or unattended death. People and crime scenes, how they tell how long a person has been dead generally is because the adult beetles generally arrive within 5 to 11 days in the actual person, and in animals it's actually a lot longer. The larvae develop within 5 to 7 weeks, as the adult beetles live for basically 4 to 6 months. These beetles are often used to clean soft tissues from skeletons. And for these reasons, many scientists, professionals, most museums, and most universities frequently grow colonies of the beetles. And the beetles are mainly hardy and easy to maintain insects. They're not really hard to actually keep and take care of. And my question is to you are, for your actual insect, is it harmful in any industries?
yeah, it's they are known to affect the poultry industry because they do go in and infect the chickens, and they end up eating the ones that are sick and dying. So they kind of cause the sick and dying chickens, which is hard on the poultry industry to regain from a infestation from my type of beetle. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Well, yes, my beetle is a pest. It is beneficial because, like I said earlier, it eats the litter, it eats bird and bat droppings, and it gets rid of the clown beetles, which is pretty nice because clown beetles' only predator is the lesser mealworm, and I believe that they're beneficial to the society because they'll eat all the stuff that humans don't ever really get rid of, since they are throwing trash on the ground, or it's the bird and bat droppings and everything like that, and mold, which is just really gross, and humans don't want to deal with that. So they're nice to have around because they do get rid of that. So my question to you is, is your beetle harmful to any industries like mine is?
Yes, in some ways. They're normally, since they are flesh-eating animals, I mean insects, they generally eat any insect that's actually their size and like larger. Many of them can actually eat a cat and decompose a dog within 2 weeks of the time they are actually dead. And mainly they're like known to like destruct like woolen, like I said previously, fabrics, furs, and many common materials. Any other questions?
How is the flesh-eating beetle used in museums?
So since these beetles are used to clean like soft tissues from skeletons, many museums and people tend to colonize them in bins and actually plastic totes because many of them need large amount of like also circulation to prevent like mold growth and to like keep like the bad bugs out basically. And how these like insects are kept in the museums are mostly because like they need the temperature of the actual museum and like where they're like colonized at actually have to be like a specific temperature because it's normally to like a range between 65 and 85 degrees, and because like 80 degrees is a temperature where the beetles can actually fly. They're not known to fly, but research has found out that if it's warmer, if they're in a warmer environment, they can fly in general, which is kind of strange. But they're also known to prefer to work in the dark than in the light, so they can decompose skeletons in a faster amount of time if they're working in the dark than in the light.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's all my questions.
That was basically my rebuttal too.
Right. Do you want to do closing statements?
Yeah. So like overall, the Dermestis maculatus flesh-eating beetle are basically known for the process of skeletonization, which means they'll eat flesh off of carcasses. Wildlife and law enforcement agents use the beetles to also expose skeletons when harsh chemicals might damage evidence in like crime scenes and anything like that, such as marks on bones as well. These beetles are also used in forensically, such as cleaning off of school for potential murder investigation. And as I said previously, these beetles are actually very small to actually eat flesh off of an animal and off of a carcass. And normally the females are larger than the male. And just overall, generally, they're just great. Like, as we said before, like, which is more beneficial? I feel like that's a great insect to have overall to help like estimate like how long a carcass has been dead, to help like figure out suicides, homicides, and just generally make it easier for investigations. And many people just colonize these beetles for fun, and it's a nice, easy insect and beetle to keep around. And yeah.
Okay, so I think at the end of this debate, I realized that both of these beetles are actually pests, and like most beetles are. But I believe that the lesser mealworm does help the society by cleaning up the streets in a non-cliche way, because they eat litter and they feed on the sick and dying animals that humans would have no benefit towards anyways. So they really just help make sure that everything is clean. They eat the mold, they eat bat and bird poop and litter that humans had no use for anyway. So I believe that the lesser mealworm does help out the humans a lot. Just like the flesh-eating beetle, I believe that they're both beneficial. But to me, I'd like a clean environment with no sick or dying animals or litter and mold and stuff like that. So yeah, that's our debate.
That's our debate.
Okay, I'm starting broadcast.